Then, June 10th, 38 AD, his beloved sister Drusilla dies. She's 24 years old. Sudden illness, fever, dead within days, and something in Caligula shatters completely. The machine is about to activate. What I'm about to describe isn't random violence. It's not the actions of a madman who lost control. This is a system, a machine, built with precision, operated with purpose. Caligula constructs 5 distinct acts of psychological warfare, each one designed to destroy a different part of the human spirit, each one more devastating than the last. And the truly terrifying part? How methodical it was, how carefully engineered. Modern psychologists who study his reign describe it as systematic psychological torture at a state level. Let me show you the blueprint. June 10th, 38 AD. Caligula's sister Drusilla dies. She's 24 years old. Sudden illness. Maybe malaria. Maybe something else. The ancient sources aren't clear. What is clear? Caligula loved her. Maybe the only person he genuinely loved after his family was destroyed. Ancient sources, particularly Suetonius and Cassius Dio, claim their relationship was incestuous. Whether this was true or propaganda from his enemies, we'll never know. What matters is that Romans believed it, and Caligula did nothing to discourage those beliefs. When Drusilla dies, Caligula's grief is immediate, overwhelming, public. But it's also different. He doesn't just mourn, he weaponizes mourning. Within days of her death, Caligula presents a proposal to the Senate. Drusilla is to be declared a goddess, not metaphorically, not symbolically, officially, legally, with full divine status. The Senate, still afraid of him, still trying to please him, agrees immediately. Divus Drusilla, the divine Drusilla. Temples are constructed in her honor, in Rome, in provincial cities, across the empire. Priests are appointed, priestesses are ordained, religious ceremonies are established. And here's the crucial part: worship is mandatory. If you're a Roman citizen, you are now legally required to worship Caligula's dead sister as a goddess. Refuse? That's sacrilege. That's treason against the state religion. Punishment. Execution. But Caligula doesn't stop there. He declares a period of justitium, national mourning. During Roman mourning periods, certain activities are suspended. Courts close. Public business stops. It's meant to last a few days, maybe a week. Caligula's mourning period lasts much longer, and the restrictions are unusual. He issues edicts. It is now illegal to laugh during the mourning period. Think about what this means. You're a Roman citizen. You're at home. Your child, who doesn't understand, who's too young to grasp the politics, says something funny. A child's joke. Innocent. You laugh, reflexively, because your child made you laugh. A servant hears. A neighbor. An informant. They report you. You're arrested, brought before a magistrate, charged with violating the mourning decree, with disrespecting the divine Drusilla. The penalty? Death, or exile, or massive fines that bankrupt your family. It is now illegal to bathe during the mourning period. Cleanliness suggests normalcy, joy, moving on with life. All forbidden. Romans, who prided themselves on their public baths, their hygiene, their civilization, are now forced to go unwashed for weeks. It is now illegal to dine with your family during the mourning period. Family meals suggest celebration, togetherness, happiness. All forbidden. You must eat alone, in silence, in sorrow. One senator, Marcus Junius Silanus, is caught having dinner with his family. It was his daughter's birthday. She was turning 15. He thought a small, private family meal would be acceptable. Someone reported him. Caligula's response: "You celebrate while the divine Drusilla is dead? You find joy while the empire mourns?" Silenus was forced to commit suicide. His family watched. The daughter whose birthday they were celebrating? She was married off to one of Caligula's cronies, against her will, as additional punishment. Cassius Dio writes, "The entire city lived in terror, not of foreign enemies, not of plague or famine, but of accidentally showing happiness." A man smiles because he sees a beautiful sunset over the Tiber. Someone notices, reports it. He's arrested. His defense: "I was appreciating the gods' creation. Surely that honors them." Caligula's judgment: "The only god you should be thinking about is Drusilla. Your joy insults her memory." The man is exiled. His property is confiscated. A wedding that had been planned for months. Contracts signed, dowries paid, families committed, is scheduled to take place during the mourning period. The couple appeals to Caligula. "Caesar, the contracts were signed before the divine Drusilla's death. Can we proceed? We'll keep it small, private, respectful." Caligula's response: "You think your happiness is more important than my sister's memory?" The wedding is cancelled. The groom is sent to serve in a military outpost in North Africa. The bride is married to someone else. Someone Caligula chooses. For weeks, some sources say months, Rome exists in a state of mandated grief. Markets operate in whispers. Streets are quiet. The famous Roman baths are empty. Theaters are closed. The circuses are dark. Children are punished for playing too loudly, for laughing, for being children. Elderly people, who've seen everything in their long lives, describe this period as the most surreal, the most psychologically crushing, not because of what's happening, but because of what isn't allowed to happen. Joy itself has become illegal. Suetonius records that some Romans developed what we might call anxiety disorders. They became terrified of their own emotions, afraid to feel anything, because any emotion might be the wrong emotion. One man reportedly became so paranoid about accidentally smiling that he developed a facial tic, a permanent grimace. His face literally froze in an expression of sorrow. Finally, after weeks or months, the sources disagree, the Senate begs Caligula to end the mourning period, not because they don't respect Drusilla, but because the empire is suffering. Commerce is disrupted. Social bonds are fracturing. People are having psychological breakdowns. Caligula agrees, lifts the restrictions, but he's learned something crucial. He can legislate emotion. He can criminalize natural human responses. He can make his internal pain everyone's external reality. He can force an entire empire to feel what he feels, whether they want to or not. And if he can do it once, he can do it again. Refined, improved, more targeted. The machine has found its first method. This next act is so disturbing that historians have debated for 2,000 years whether it actually happened. Suetonius, Cassius Dio, and Seneca the Younger, who was alive during Caligula's reign, all mention it, with varying degrees of detail. Some modern historians argue it's propaganda, exaggeration by enemies. Others argue the sources are too consistent, too specific, for it to be entirely fabricated. Here's what the ancient sources claim: 39 AD, approximately 1 year after Drusilla's death. Caligula is experiencing financial problems. Tiberius left the imperial treasury full. But Caligula has been spending extravagantly. Games, gifts, building projects. The treasury is depleting. He needs money, and he comes up with a solution that reveals the depth of his psychological cruelty. He establishes a brothel inside the imperial palace, not for his personal use, as a business. A revenue-generating enterprise. And it's not staffed by professional prostitutes or enslaved people, though Rome had plenty of both. It's staffed by the wives and daughters of Rome's senatorial class, the aristocracy, the noble families, the women whose ancestors founded the Republic, whose fathers govern provinces, whose brothers command legions. According to Suetonius, he opened a brothel in the palace, furnishing a number of rooms and stocking them with married women and freeborn youths. Then he sent his pages about the forums and basilicas, inviting young and old to come and enjoy themselves. Caligula has heralds go into the Roman Forum, the heart of the city, where senators debate, where citizens gather, where Rome conducts its public business, and announce the imperial palace now offers companionship services. They post prices, publicly, different rates for married women versus unmarried women, premium rates for virgins from senatorial families, special rates for women from the most distinguished families, the clarissimi feminae. The heralds list names, actual names. The daughter of Senator Marcus Lepidus, available. The wife of Senator Appius Silenus, available. The daughter of Senator Gnaeus Domitius Ahenobarbus, available. Women you know, women you see at the theater, women whose weddings you attended, women whose fathers sit next to you in the Senate. And here's the detail that makes it so specifically, deliberately cruel. Caligula keeps ledgers, physical books, kept by palace accountants, recording everything. Name of the woman, name of her father or husband, date of service, client's name, when notable. Fee, paid services rendered, in clinical terminology. The bureaucratic accounting of human degradation. Think about what this does psychologically. If you're a Roman nobleman, your entire identity, everything you are, everything your family has been for generations, is built on one foundation: honor. Your family's honor, your daughter's honor, your wife's honor. Roman law is obsessive about this. A man who seduces another man's wife can be killed legally. A daughter who loses her virginity outside marriage brings infamia, disgrace, on her entire family. Your daughter is meant to marry well, to produce legitimate heirs, to maintain the bloodline, to be honorable. And now she's being advertised in the forum, like livestock, like merchandise. Her name is in a ledger, in the imperial palace, in permanent ink, and you can do absolutely nothing about it. Because if you object, if you try to remove your daughter, if you try to protect your wife, if you show any resistance at all, Caligula has a simple, legally airtight response. Are you refusing a direct order from your emperor? That sounds like treason. And the penalty for treason is execution, not just of you, of your entire family. So you send your daughter to the palace, you help her dress, you kiss her forehead, you tell her to be brave, and she goes. She serves in the imperial brothel, with the daughters of other senators, women she grew up with, women she considered friends, some for days, some for weeks. The sources disagree on duration. Cassius Dio writes, "He collected together all the most beautiful women and the handsomest boys and young men in Rome and forced them to submit to prostitution. He did this not because he needed the money, but because he wanted to humiliate the noble families." That last part is crucial. Not because he needed the money, but because he wanted to humiliate. This isn't about revenue. It's about power, about demonstrating that he can take anything, that nothing is sacred, that no one is safe. He's destroying family honor, the one thing Roman aristocracy values more than life itself. And the ledgers remain, permanent records. Even after the brothel closes, and sources suggest it operated for weeks or months before being shut down, those records exist. Years later, former clients would be blackmailed. Remember when you visited the imperial brothel? Remember which senator's daughter you were with? It's all recorded. How much is that secret worth to you? Women who were forced to serve spend the rest of their lives under a cloud. Their marriages are ruined. Their reputations destroyed. Some commit suicide. The families never recover. One senator, decades later, during Claudius's reign, is overheard saying, "My daughter served in Caligula's brothel. She was 14. She never married, never had children. Our family line ends with me because of him." But Caligula isn't satisfied with public humiliation. He realizes there's something even more devastating: private humiliation with public witnesses. Imperial banquets during Caligula's reign become something Romans dread. It's expected, required, that senators and their wives attend. Refusing an invitation is an insult to the emperor, and insulting the emperor is treason. So you go, you put on your finest toga. Your wife wears her best stola and jewelry. You arrange your faces into expressions of honor and pleasure, and you walk into a trap. The banquets are held in the palace, large triclinium, dining rooms where Romans recline on couches while eating. 50 to 100 guests, all high-ranking, senators, magistrates, military commanders, and their wives. Everyone can see everyone. Everyone can hear everything. The food is exquisite. The wine is expensive. Musicians play, dancers perform. On the surface, it's civilized, cultured, Roman. But underneath, there's terror. Because everyone knows what happens at these banquets. Everyone has heard the stories. Caligula presides, reclining on the most prominent couch, watching, always watching. At first, the conversation is normal. Politics, philosophy, news from the provinces. Then Caligula stands. The room goes silent. Even the musicians stop playing. He walks between the couches, slowly, deliberately, looking at the women. His eyes are clinical, evaluative, like a buyer at an auction examining merchandise. He's choosing. Cassius Dio describes this. He would examine the wives of the foremost men as if they were slaves being offered for sale, and he would take them aside and defile them, and would then return and praise or blame their features one by one, comparing them and criticizing them in the presence of their own husbands. Imagine being the husband. Caligula stops at your couch. Your wife is sitting next to you. He looks at her, really looks at her. Up and down, slowly, taking his time. He reaches out, touches her hair, lifts a strand, examines the color, touches her face, turns it side to side, studying her profile. You're sitting right there, inches away. And the emperor is examining your wife like you don't exist. He doesn't ask permission, doesn't acknowledge you, doesn't speak to you. He just takes her hand and leads her away, through a doorway, into a private chamber. The door closes. Your wife looks back. Once. Her eyes are pleading, territri continuified, begging you to do something, but you can't. You sit there. The senator across from you, Marcus, is staring at his wine cup. His hands are shaking. His wife went through this 2 months ago. She hasn't been the same since. The woman next to your wife's empty couch, Silenus's wife, is trembling. She knows. Everyone knows. Someone attempts conversation. About the wine. About the upcoming chariot races. The words are hollow. Fragile. Like glass about to shatter. 20 minutes pass. Each one feels like 20 years. Other guests are pretending to eat, pretending to drink, pretending this is normal. Because if you acknowledge what's happening, if you show emotion, if you react like a human being, if you do what every instinct is screaming at you to do, you won't leave this room alive. Neither will your wife. Neither will your children at home. So you sit. You wait. You feel your humanity draining away with each passing second. The Praetorian guards are standing along the walls, watching, hands on their swords. Cassius Chaerea is one of them. He's watching all of this, night after night, banquet after banquet, taking mental notes, building rage. But not yet. Not yet. Finally, the door opens. Caligula brings your wife back. She won't look at you. Won't look at anyone. She sits down mechanically, staring at nothing. And then Caligula doesn't leave. He sits down, right next to you, so close you can smell his perfume. Feel the heat from his body. He pours himself wine from your cup, takes a slow sip, savoring it. The entire banquet hall is watching now. Nobody's pretending anymore. And then Caligula begins to speak. Suetonius records, he would often have them led out of the dining room while he was at dinner with their husbands. And when they returned, he would criticize them, detail by detail, noting both their good points and their defects. In front of everyone, your colleagues, your friends, your political rivals, the guards, the servants, he describes what just happened, in detail, clinical, graphic, humiliating detail. Your wife is quite responsive, more so than Senator Marcus's wife, though less skilled than Senator Lepidus's. He's creating a ranking system, rating senators' wives like gladiators, like racehorses. She has excellent skin, though her breasts are smaller than I prefer, and she makes amusing sounds when some of the younger senators laugh nervously, because you're supposed to laugh at the emperor's jokes, because laughing means you're in on it, and being in on it means maybe your wife won't be next. Your wife is crying silently, tears running down her face. She's learned not to make noise, not to draw attention. And you smile. You have to. You nod at his observations. You laugh when he makes jokes. You say things like, "Thank you for the honor, Caesar." My wife is fortunate to receive your attention. You are most generous. The words come out like you're possessed, like someone else is speaking through your mouth. Because the alternative is unthinkable. The alternative is standing up, defending your wife's honor, acting like a Roman man, acting like a husband who loves his wife. And then watching Caligula give the signal, watching the guard seize your children from your home, watching them executed in front of you, before they kill you. So you smile, you thank him, you participate in your own humiliation, and tomorrow night there will be another banquet. Another wife will be led away. Another husband will sit there and smile, and everyone will pretend it's normal, that this is just how things are now. Seneca the Younger, who lived through Caligula's reign, wrote years later, "He destroyed marriages not for pleasure, but for sport. He wanted to see how far men could be pushed, how much humiliation they would accept. He was conducting experiments on the human soul. Caligula isn't just violating these women, he's destroying the men. Everything that defines you as a Roman man, your ability to protect your family, your authority over your household, your honor, your dignity, he's stripping it away piece by piece in front of everyone who matters. And tomorrow, you have to face these same people. In the Senate, in the Forum, in the baths, you have to conduct business, make decisions, pretend you still have authority, while everyone knows what happened, what you allowed to happen, what you thanked him for. This is the genius of the machine. He's not just destroying individuals, he's destroying the social fabric itself, making everyone complicit, making everyone a witness to everyone else's degradation, making human bonds, marriage, friendship, family, into weapons that can be used against you. But we're only at Act 3. And what comes next is so much worse that modern psychologists have studied it as a textbook example of systematic psychological torture. Because Caligula realizes there's one bond even stronger than marriage, the bond between parent and child. The story is far from over, and the excitement is just heating up. Don't miss a single thrilling moment. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to catch the next installment and all the dramatic twists and turns. If you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up. Share this video with friends and family so they don't miss out on the action. Thanks for watching.